If I may add, I am the trailblazer for the Nigerian Polytechnic Association of Students Union, and the trailblazer awardee. And I had always given them a lot of lectures at each of their seminars or gatherings from time to time. I was the special person that delivered the lecture on HND BSc dichotomy, which has just been approved for all the HND holders. I have the singular privilege to have been to the Polytechnic and also to have a university degree award. I'm a fellow, Strategic Finance and Administrative Institute, and a chartered member of the Nigerian Institute of Management, aside from my OND, HND, BSc. In the circumstance, I have discovered with time that the Nigerian youth are lackadaisical, behaving nonchalantly about their future in this country. It is not a deliberate thing. It is not something they have decided on their own. It is something that was pulled on them by the elders and the leaders. They intimidated them, they infuriated them, they stole their wealth, their common wealth. And consequently, because they have abused their commonwealth, these children did not have the power and the wherewithal to be able to come out and put in their best. Their fathers are begging in the street, their mothers are begging in the street as well. So when there's no money, you cannot expect anybody to have the wherewithal to face leadership. And that is the real problem we are having for the Nigerian youth today. We are going to synergize them, we are going to make them, we are going to talk to them to cohere themselves together in order to be able to pull a kind of synergy and form a symbiotic relationship among themselves. The more you are, the greater the proficiency, the greater the benefit of efficiency that you can give out. And the much you can give, the best for you at any day. We are leaders already, we are aged. Our strength is becoming to respond to the age too. But the youth that are supposed to take up the mantle has not been given the leadership. They have not been given the leadership orientation, the background, and the materials that will enhance their capability and, of course, give them enough equity to be able to stand the test of time. This was deliberately done by our leaders, our past leaders. They hoaxed the children, the youth of this nation. They forgot that the strength of any nation is the capability of the youth and the exposure you give to your youth. And it is now dawning on everybody that we hardly have people we are going to hand over to. So we have to continue and start sensitizing them now to start getting themselves prepared with ICT and all of the necessary technology that is available so that they can strengthen their base and be able to do something for their nation. It is not what the nation will do for me, but what can I add to give value to the nation's strength? That is where we are now. That is what I have come to do with them. Personally, I have been given an award up to 54. I have 54 awards. And this one will be the 55th award. I'm the Taisha of Lagos, as well as the patron of Ejo, Agiri of Idadugono in Lagos. And aside that, I had always stand the test of time to face anybody, to tell them that you must give your children education. It is the personal contribution of Ibafir Awolowo on me and Alhaji Jakonde that gave me all of the education I have today. And all this education, we have it almost free. Even in the boarding house, they give us money. In the school, they give us money. At every situation, they give us textbooks. So what is happening in this country, for goodness sake? We have the wealth, we have the money. Nigeria is richer than any African country. And I am ready to have anybody challenge that. For each day we wake up in this country, we are waking up into money. There's wealth, there's money, and of course we have the population. What we lack is enough education. If all of these children are groomed up and they are highly educated, they will be able to reach out and they will be able to deliver. Education is strength, there's no doubt. And education is wealth, and of course it is light. The more you know, the better for you, and the better for the environment and the people you are going to use it for. And of course, you'll be able to deliver what we need best, which is giving out the best of governance to anybody. But what we are having now, a bunch of, number one, illiterates. Number two, they are undemocratic. Number three, they are just leaders that got there by advantage of opportunity or something. The elites themselves, the people that are really educated, that are supposed to be there, stood away from it because of the threat of life. And if you continue to have that kind of opinion in you, you cannot have a better thing done in life. You see, ẹni tí ó fẹ́ kú kò lè joyè ilé bàbá ẹ̀. Tó bá fẹ́ jogún ilé bàbá ẹ̀, right? You must be ready to put your life on the stake. And let me tell you, nobody will die if God has not decided that that is the end of that person. Even at the shot of a gun, the bullet may not kill you. But that is the greatest fear mankind has, is that, especially in this area, once they hear bam, they are dead already. In Europe, when the whites hear the shot of a gun, they rush down there. They want to see what is happening, and they are not running away for it, because a shot cannot kill you. It will only kill you if it hits two different specific places: your center head and the heart directly. Every other place they can still manage the crisis if we have very good health management scheme around. Consequently, there's no way you'll be able to catch the person that have done that atrocity. But so far, I am believing and being convinced that the youth we have now, they have to move, and they have to keep moving and convincing themselves that for their tomorrow to be better, they have to make the best of today. The greatest prayer I have for them is come and feel Olajide. That is the greatest prayer I have for all of them.
Yes, sir. How would you define a father?
How will I define
a father?
Define
a father in the society.
Yeah, a father in the society is supposed to be a mentor. It's supposed to be what I said I had with the National Association of Nigerian Students of Polytechnic Students. A father is supposed to be a trailblazer. A father is supposed to be a surrogate, a kind of personality that will be undemented, pure, energetic, have his senses with him all the time, and approachable. And of course, he will have something to give at the demand of any child or at the request of any child. That is what a father is. He should be there as the ladder. And aside of being the ladder, the strength, the engine that will paddling the affairs of the circumstance wherever you find yourself.
Over the years, what experience remains the most memorable one?
Over
the years, what experience remains the most memorable one to you?
That remains
the most memorable one in your life.
The experience that remained the most memorable one for me was don't give up to failure and don't give up to challenges. Your ability to overcome challenges is your success. When I had my first school living certificate, already I was burdened with the death of my father, and I was the second in 9 children. And aside that, I was personally responsible for their feeding, every one of them, including my mother. And so when I had my first school cert, I failed. I went for the second time, I failed. Then I have to go and enroll myself with exam success. Right? And I now make sure that for every subject, I bought each textbook, three textbooks each for each subject. And by the time I face the GCE exams, even WAEC, they decided that they've never had this kind of passes since they started the organization. And so they have to hike up my result. And I have to go there. And until I got there with one of my uncles, then they had Mr. Chike Izimura as the registrar of WAEC that time. And the man had to say that, look, people have been sitting for GCE. GCE is an external exam, and it's over and above what they call school cert. GCE is equated to anybody that do AN, HND, or upper credits. And for somebody to have A's this much in their results, they doubted it. But when he saw me personally, and he saw what I was saying and the way I was giving it to him, and he even tested me, because Mr. Chike Izimura is a mathematician. He read mathematics. And by the time he started coming up with so many theory, and I was just giving it to him as if he came out with Lambert, the chemistry books, and he heard the way I was giving it to him, he has to convince the entire management of WAEC that this guy owns the result. And he merited the result. And that was the result I'm still using up to date.
So they were young. How did you assist your wife?
When my children were young,
they were still kids. How did you assist your wife?
It's a partnership thing. All of the time I was bearing my children, I was a bank manager. I was a banker. My wife, I did not allow her to go and work outside in anywhere. In my complex, in my compound, I make sure she has something she's busy on selling to people, so that she can attend to the children properly. Consequently, anytime I am available, I will pick the children, and we are out. And we travel out sometimes. We go to the best of the places. But when I come back, I go through their papers with them. Luckily, my wife is an NCE holder too. So she has always been pruning their papers, their bags, scrutinizing their bags, looking at their uniform, taking care of the children. So all my children, I have 5 children, all of them are graduates. And they're very good graduates, not just graduates. And aside that, they are all married. So I have about 8 grandchildren. And I have a school in my house where all my grandchildren school.
So now that your children are grown up, can you still cook for your grandchildren?
Can I still cook?
Cook, yes.
Yeah, why not? Let me convince you, this morning before I leave home, I did the cooking in the kitchen this morning before I left home. Because number one, I woke up before everybody. And my first thing is tea, very hot tea in the morning. So when I was preparing that tea, I knew all of them will wake up by 6 o'clock and start taking their part and dressing. So consequently, I realized that I must do something for them. So I took 2 tubers of yam, peel it, cut it, and put it on gas. So by that time, my wife has woken up, did her prayer, and continued the remaining thing. If I did not begin the process, right, it will be difficult for her to take care of the children, then come back and start doing their food, and the children will be late for school. And for me, punctuality is the soul of business. That is why when they gave me 10 here, I was there at 9:30. When they gave me 11 o'clock for any occasion, I will be there by 10:30 or 10. But I will never be late to any situation.
This is a nice interview, sir. I want to use your words to encourage the younger generation, to give hope to the hopeless. Now, how did you spoil your wife?
Well, the only thing I can say I've used in spoiling my wife is, right now I don't have a car. But when I had a car, I make sure she have a car. Right? And of course, we have always traveled together. Anywhere I want to go, anywhere I am transferred, like when I was in the banking industry, I went through the entire country. Not because I wanted to go through the entire country, but my bank observed that I am a utility staff. You know, when they say somebody is an utility personality, it means that any aspect of banking is grounded. And when they have any crisis in any particular branch, they will ask me to go there on transfer. I could be there for a year, I could be there for 6 months, and that place will stabilize. So by the time they are taking me around, I go with my wife. I don't leave my wife behind. I was lucky I had my mother. So my mother was taking care of the children, and of course she knew all the routine, right? So let me say that my wife had the best of me when I can afford it, right? Like we stay in Ikonoga Hilton for almost 3 years together. We stay at Sheraton for a year when I was transferred from the north, deep north, Bauchi, down back to the middle belt, right? Then I became the area inspector for the bank in Allied Bank. All the branches of Allied Bank in the north reported on my scale. So I make sure we go to Chinese restaurant and all of. In fact, up till date, I still go to club. And unless she says she's not going with me, that is when I drop her. I go to Fela, I go to Alariwo and all of these people. I go to club. I still club. And if she says she's not going, I drop her. There's no big deal.
And what's the most valuable gift you ever give it to her, if you can remember?
The most valuable gift
ever give it to her, if you can remember?
That is serious. I think when I went to Mecca, when I went for Hajj, I bought her what she least expected I would bring back for her. And that is a special gold. That is 100% gold. And aside that, I made sure I gave her a Mercedes-Benz 200 straight engine, pure white. When just before I retired.
So how did you discipline your children when they are wrong?
I don't spare them at all. The issue is this: spare the rod and spoil the children. I don't spare my children. In fact, in my life, as a situation manager or crisis person, because I'm going for a conflict resolution lecture for the White Brigade at Bokon on Saturday. See, I don't spare anybody at all. That is one aspect you will learn and people usually learn from you. If you mess up now, I will not allow you to go now. I will deliver it back to you there and let you know that what you have done is wrong and this is the way you must do it. If you like, you take it. If you don't like, drop it. But I will have made sure I gave it back to you and I tell you this is the best way out, and don't do that kind of thing to anybody. What you cannot take, don't give it to anybody.
Sir, with your busy schedules, how did you find time to relax?
That is another thing. The brain doesn't relax. That is the first function, and that's the first thing I will tell you. So if you relax, then you are going to start becoming dull. So for me to relax, I pick up my phone and I browse. I am always on the internet 24/7. But if I have to relax at all, then I listen to very beautiful music. I love music a lot. And music is an inspiration for anybody. It energizes you, it gives you a lot of, it takes you into the world of art. and I love art a lot. I'm a traditional person. I'm a traditional person. I respect tradition a lot. And I am deeply involved.
So one more words for the youth. Advice to the youth to stay out of crime.
Problem is peering, is friendship. You know, the kind of friend you have will tell you the kind of person you will become in life. When people like us were younger, we were used to meeting the people. The kind of friends I have are people that are much more elderly than me. People who will give me more insight to life. If you want to move with your peers, you will have problem. If you move too much with your peers, you will have problem. You have to have somebody whom you look up to and who is very sound. There's no way you can fail. You will make life a better thing for yourself.
And shout out to your friends. The people organizing the award to the KBC and some of the Ibafir and some other need to go overseas in Uganda.
Well, the KBC here in Ibafir, I've met him several times, but I've not been to his palace yet. Kashi, Oba, Abayua. He's a very humble person. We have met severally in politics when he was still not a crown robber. But now that he is a crown robber, he will not be able to meet, except once. And that once he was not able to sit down and have me much. I was not able to meet him and discuss much over the local government ceremony. But I'm looking at it that it is going to restructure the traditional base of Ibafir, and of course add value to the entire Ogun State, because I see him as a very dynamic person. The only advice I want to give him is he should not delve into politics too much. He should stay clear of politics. It is not every one of us are political entity. We are political animal. We are politicians. There's no doubt. But he should not identify himself with anybody. Just stay out, hold his home, hold the base, be there as a father for everybody, and of course, motivate everybody. Even in politics, wherever you want them to go, motivate and give them your backing. But don't you ever come out and disclose your political base to anybody, because usually it is not always the best in traditional chiefs. It is not always the best, so that he doesn't get being humiliated or being abused by anybody. Because once you start abusing the Oba, gradually, no matter how his kingdom will start having some problems, and you don't need that. Let him stay with his crown. Let him stay with all of the subjects encompassing, because he's the father of all. Let him continue to motivate and advise everybody towards goodness and delivering the best for the community.
Thank you, sir. Now, I want you to let me put this up.